Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Today we're going to talk about colors. I haven't done a video in quite some time on colors, and that's what I want to talk about today. I've got 4 main color categories that I utilize in the boat at all times, and I've been getting a lot of questions recently from viewers specifically asking me for what color I would use under certain circumstances. And a lot of times I'll respond back with one of the 4 categories that I utilize. And then I get follow-up responses back asking for more specifically, does that mean that it's, a white bait, a silver bait, a clear bait? What exactly does that mean? So I wanted to address this because I think it can help you save a few dollars because you're not going to need to buy nearly as much tackle as you may have thought you would. I think it'll limit the amount of tackle you need to carry with you. So specifically if you're a shore angler, or you're in a kayak, you just don't have all the room in the world to bring with you 30 different colors of the same bait. And lastly, it should hopefully give you more confidence on the water in case you run out of a specific color, or you just find that you're fishing with somebody else, is catching them on one bait and you don't have that color and you want to be able to, match the color that they're throwing. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about colors today, guys. I think it's one of those topics that can be very important, but more times than not is generally given too much importance. I think oftentimes anglers really bear down on, is it a green pumpkin with blue flake, or is it green pumpkin with black flake? Is it green pumpkin with purple flake? And because they caught them on the one that was blue flake, that's the only color that works. And I'm willing to bet you that 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's not that important. I have seen instances over the years where it does seem like a specific color really seems to matter more. But I'll tell you what, in most of those instances, it is because that color really resembles whatever one of the main forages are at that specific time of year. And what I mean by that is if you go to a body of water that's got, say a certain crayfish that for whatever reason for a 2-week period is more of a blue color, it seems like in those instances that may be when a blue color really outperforms maybe a black or a purple. But it really is not that big of a deal in most instances for me, and I don't think it should be for you either. So let's address these colors. All right, so the first category that I have is what I consider natural colors. A natural color to me is something like this Berkley Maxent General. This is just their green pumpkin, watermelon, laminate color. So specifically by natural, what I'm talking about is something that is not bold, is not bright. It's something that is more of a color that you would find in natural circumstances. So generally to me, what a natural color means is something in your greens, something in your browns, and pretty much any shades in between. But you're talking about your watermelons, your green pumpkins, your browns. Sometimes you can have some natural colors that are not black, but like darker browns. You have lots of shades of brown and green. So that's really one of the absolute primary colors anytime you go fishing. It comes down to your watermelons and green pumpkins and your browns, your cinnamons. Those are all some of the most well-proven colors throughout the country. They are absolutely a must-have in clear water, and they still work in stained and even muddy water. But generally, if you have visibility that is anywhere from 2 feet or more, you should be thinking about using your natural colors, your greens and browns. I do think that that is a very important color to be using. It doesn't mean you can't use other colors in clear water, but it just means that those are kind of the most well-proven colors. The next category I have is what I consider my bait fish category. That's like this blue pearl black hologram. It's just simply, kind of a silver color, a little milky color with some silver, black, some blue flake in there. Just a very nice bait fish mimicking bait. So these are the colors that you're going to be using to mimic your shad, your alewives, your smelt, your Cisco, blueback herring, any sort of minnow or shad or oily type fish color. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So you're talking from a color standpoint, your silvers, your clears, your pearls, your whites, those are all generally going to be along the same category of a bait fish color. You know, I don't personally think if you're throwing white pearl versus this blue pearl hologram, it's going to make a huge difference in terms of getting that fish to bite. I think you're really just trying to mimic the forage species that is there, and one of the primary forage species of bass. You know, for me, a natural bait fish color falls more along those clear water color choices again. So if you have really clear water or you're fishing deep suspended fish, it's definitely a color choice. But more times than not, that category of color for me is more about if I'm trying to mimic shad or whatever that bait fish is. Meaning, if I'm fishing a body of water that may be somewhat dirty or stained, but I'm fishing fish that are relating specifically to shad, I'm going to throw a white color regardless of the water color. It's more important to copy the color of the forage species in that instance. Now, I can't say that I have any other category of color where I really feel that way, but I do feel like your whites and silvers and clear colors can be used pretty much from the gamut of dirty water to clear water. It's just more about mimicking the forage species of the bass. The next color category are what I consider your dark colors. So this is just a June bug. Dark colors to me are usually going to be a shade of purple or June bug, your blacks, and your blues. Those all fit into the same category. They're all very dark tones. And these are what I'm going to throw when I've got off-colored water where I have 2 foot of visibility or less, or I'm fishing tannic colored water. So in tannic colored water, you may have 4 foot of water visibility, but it's got that rust color, that coffee color, and that's where you get your purples and blacks and blues really come into play. So it's a really good color to be using in muddy water, and it's a good color to be using in just off-colored, darker water. The last color category that I have is really what I consider my loud, obnoxious colors, my bright baits. You know, in this case, this is a two-tone color one. This is the Max Scent. It's a watermelon copper laminate, but the majority of it is this bright orange color. And to me, any of these bright colors, so your chartreuses, your oranges, your lime greens, your yellows, those are all triggering colors. So those colors can generally work in most colors of water, but it's more about time of year and the attitude of the fish. So if I'm fishing, say, post-front conditions where the fish are in a lethargic mood, I'm generally not going to throw a real bright color. If I know they're in a good feeding phase, sometimes your bright colors can really generate a lot of additional strikes. It makes them very aggressive, and you get some awesome bites out of it. So if I'm throwing bright colors, I could be throwing it anywhere from clear water to dark water again. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. If I'm in clear water and I'm trying to trigger active fish because I can get them to see it from so much further away, that's a good time to go with a bright color. If I'm in dirty water, you get the same thing. You know, in dirty water, you kind of have to go with either your really dark baits, your blacks and blues, or you got to go with super bright chartreuse and just, you know, loud baits to try to get through that muddy water. But those are the 4 categories, guys. It's not about glitter color for me. It's about the base color. And then from that standpoint, if I want to work in glitter, I'm generally going to use something that's natural color, or I'm trying to mimic the main forage species of the fish in that lake. And what I mean by that is if I'm fishing a body of water that's got yellow perch as the primary forage species, well, their primary colors are going to be either a chartreuse, an orange, or a green. And in that case, I would be willing to put that glitter color in, say, a green pumpkin. So maybe I'll use a green pumpkin green, or a green pumpkin with a copper or an orange flake. Something that mimics that primary forage. But generally speaking, for me, the 2 flakes that I like are either black flake, or I like to go with a silver flake. You know, again, that just is something to add a little bit of flash. The silver, I feel like, makes any bait kind of look like a a shad or a smelt or an alewife or whatever it is that you have in your lakes. And other than that, it's about matching the bluegill or matching the perch or whatever the other forage species is. But I think you can keep it really simple. As long as you have one bag of these 4 color categories in your boat at all times, you're going to be good to go on the water. You don't have to have 30 bags of each color within each category. Let me know, guys, what are some of your favorite colors in the comment sections? Did I miss something? If so, throw it in the comment section so that everyone else that's watching can pick up and learn from what you know as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video.